Okay, welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. I'm your host, Thaddeus Park. And if you're new to the podcast, you can find us anywhere where you can get your podcast. We're on pretty much every single platform or all the important platforms. We're also on YouTube. If you check us out on YouTube, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. It matters. And you can also find us on atbpod.com. First thing I want to do is shout out our sponsors. First, we have Defend Hawaii. They've been my sponsor from the get-go, the day one. They've been supporting me since I started this podcast. But if you check them out at their website, defendhawaii.com, go to their store, Winter Mall. No one, they got some new drops for spring. But go check them out, defendhawaii.com. If you use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, you'll get 15% off your first purchase order. So go check them out. Next, we have IREP Detail Supply, and they're your one-stop shop superstore for everything you need to detail your vehicle, truck, car, whatever you're driving around. Go check them out. They have a store in Temple Valley Shopping Center. They also have one in Las Vegas. If not, go check them out at irepdetailsupply.com. If you use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, you'll also get 15% off your entire purchase order. Next, we have our medicinal mushroom company, and they're a locally based medicinal mushroom company. It's Medicinal Mushrooms Hawaii, and they're locally based out of Hawaii. They have 4 extracted mushroom tinctures. We have lion's mane, chaga, turkey tail, and red reishi. If you don't know the properties of what these mushrooms do to each one of these mushrooms have a different health value to it. I take all of these religiously every single day. I'll take the first 3 in the morning, and I will also take the red reishi at night because it helps me sleep like a champ. But go check them out at medmushroomhigh.com. If you use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, you'll receive 45% off your first tincture of whatever mushrooms you want. So go check them out. Aloha. All right. Well, this week on my show, I'm bringing back a returning guest, one of my closest friends. He owns Level H Promotion Company as well as Hawaii Events Unlimited, or one of the owners for Hawaii Events Unlimited. Hanson, what's up, brother?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing great, and I appreciate you taking time. I know you're out in Maryland right now.
Yeah.
I know the time difference is pretty crazy, but I appreciate you taking time to come on my show and let's clear the air about a few things. But before we get into that, how's business been? Is getting prom season's done already? Yeah, was
Yeah,
graduation.
just finished. Yeah, just finished and graduation's about to kick into gears. So, but yeah, business wise, yeah, it's been busy. Hawaii Events Unlimited has been on the up and up. We're doing some bigger, crazier, things that we didn't think we'd even be doing, huge events. So, as well as taking care and maintaining all the smaller events. So, it's definitely been really good. We're trying to hire new people just because we're turning gigs away now. So it's really good.
Oh wow. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good situation that you're
No,
turning gigs
true.
away.
No, true, 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 true. It's a good problem to have, and we still gotta figure out how to. We want to take more, but we don't want to, downgrade the quality that we're doing. So we only want to take this much. So we're trying to add to the crew, train up our crew and learn from them and have them teach each other and try to raise everybody up.
Yeah. For anybody who
Yeah,
doesn't know, what exactly is Hawaii Events Unlimited?
yeah. So Hawaii Events Unlimited, we're um a local production company based here in Oahu, and then we do sound, lighting, special effects. We have a roster of DJs, MCs, so anything you want for audio visual um, um, things for your event. They call us everything from weddings, first birthdays to galas. We've done stage things. We've done conferences with different companies. Um, with live streaming. Yeah, just actually we would do like over 100 different products and services that we offer. So it's kind of extensive. But anything you want to do for you have an event coming up, just hit us up and we can see how you can utilize this.
And it's cool
Yeah,
because I seen your company grow as well as you grow with the
yeah,
company. And Right, you guys do some crazy stuff, and fortunately, using you guys for our wedding, so I'll definitely be a customer as well. But I think that watching you build this company has been, as a friend, like something super cool for me to notice. And like you guys pretty much got all the innovative stuff on lock. I can't believe some of the stuff you guys do, and it's been a trip, man. Like seeing the stuff, projection mapping, and all that stuff you guys do on these big buildings. I'm like, bro, that's Hanson guys doing that. That's nuts.
Yeah. I big this up to my business partner Marvin. He's kind of like the brains behind a lot of those technical things, and he's a person that likes to like this is his thing. This is his passion. So he likes to try new things, and he's not afraid to try new things, which is good for Hawaii. A lot of times we always get things late, or we'll just copy what the mainland does 6 months down the line. But we get a chance to send our guys out into the mainland to do these different conferences, lighting conferences, photo booth conferences, getting these things. As soon as the mainland gets it, we get it, and we kind of want to. I always hate to have things later on, and we're always like behind the step from the mainland. But he's definitely an innovator. We also get to send our guys to these things to bring these tech and these new ideas to Oahu, just like the mainland.
That's
Definitely.
super cool, man. And
Yeah.
I think, like you said, he's not afraid to pull the trigger on some of this stuff,
Hmm.
which is, I mean, as business owners, especially if you're partners, it's can get tricky. It's like one guy
Hmm.
wants to buy some new stuff, and other guys like, wait, but like you guys been just pulling triggers and doing crazy stuff.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We're a good balance. Uh, the the company has so many moving parts, and as well as we're like working for a company because we just have events that we have to manage, but then trying to look forward to events coming up and marketing schemes coming up, as well as new tech that we're trying to look into and taking care of the details now. Like, yeah, we work really well together about how to see things, and we talk well with each other. So that's why it's been working so far. Usually, business partnerships it's really hard to work with, but I like it because Marvin and I get along, and it means a lot.
Yeah, and I'm fortunate
Yeah,
enough to got to meet him and talk to him and stuff. And yeah, he's very cool, very quiet, very humble, and yeah, he's it definitely good yin yang between both of you. You're good at
yeah, yeah,
speaking to people, and like he's good at doing all that stuff. I think
yeah.
you
We're
guys
getting him
been
behind the camera now. He's doing
yeah,
all of our social media. I love it. It's hilarious because
yeah.
he's not his forte, but I mean, he knows what he's talking about, which is a good thing, about the technical stuff. But getting him behind the camera, I think it's good. People see his face, and he's
Yeah,
getting used to it now.
that's one thing I was gonna touch on is you guys' social media presence is building, and you guys are, yeah, like you're putting him in front of the camera, and I think it's
Yeah,
cool because the way marketing and advertisement is, if your social media presence is kind of low, then it doesn't work as well. But you guys
yeah,
are putting
definitely.
yourself out there, and it's fun to watch, and it's funny. You guys do some cool stuff too, and people can see behind the scenes and see exactly how much work goes into some of these events.
No, definitely. We have a pretty good not pretty good. We have a really good social media crew. Big ups to Kristen and Michaela. We have some young people, handling our social media, and they're following the trends. They're coming up with ideas, and right now, like yeah, social media is probably one of the top ranked things to how to market for your company. And for us to like figure out the TikTok trends and the Instagram trends is really difficult, man. And yeah, I don't even understand what they're talking about half the time, but they know what's popular. And we're getting older, but our brides are still the same age, so we have to make sure we're talking
Oh,
to the demographics, and they're definitely helping with that. And me and Marvin aren't trying to get in front of the camera and look stupid a little bit, just so we can connect with these younger people. And it's been really, really good, and they've been doing a great job.
bro, I haven't even thought about that. You're totally right. As
Yeah.
older as age you guys get or your company builds, the
Hmm.
clientele age demographic is going to be the same as that's that demo except my wedding, but the yeah, the demo is pretty much like between what late 20s to about mid 30s, huh?
Yeah, yeah, 25 to 35. That's the sweet spot.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, but there's plenty outliers. There's plenty
Yeah,
outliers.
yeah,
I've
that'd
seen
be
them
me.
all.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys do so many events and you guys been picking up a lot of corporate events. I always
yeah.
wanted to ask you this because I always ask Hoppa, like, because he DJs from a lot of events. What events do you like doing the most? Like when you got to do a wedding or a corporate event or like as production, which one is the most gratifying for you and which one do you like doing the most? I know some are gratifying but a lot of work, but which ones you're like, oh, yup, I can't wait for this one.
Um, it's been changing over the years. When we first started, I think we were looking forward to proms the most, just because we could flex on all our lighting, the lasers, our concerts. It's like we got to bring like concert promotion and effects down to like the wedding and prom level, and we were kind of going off. The kids loved it, because we could do all these special effects, and the DJs had the big sound system, and it felt like a event for them. Now I like these corporate events that have an unlimited budget and they kind of just hands us the reins. So now it's like we're not constrained um to what their vision is and trying to fit it to what we have. Like they're saying, hey, this is the feel we want, this is our budget, make it happen, and we just check off the boxes saying that, they have speakers, they have this amount of guests, or our sound system covers that amount of people, but they give us the reins to like come up with the decor schemes, lighting schemes, things like that. And it's fun, definitely fun.
Oh, that's cool. And then which
Yeah.
would be the ones you dread the most?
Uh, I don't say dread. I just think sometimes when it comes to weddings, it's like their day. Like they have once in a lifetime chance to, make sure we get it right. So I don't think it's dreading, it's just a little more stressful.
Mm.
Whereas, if we start at 7:05, not at 7 o'clock, a corporate gig, they can push back 5 minutes, 7 o'clock to 7:05. If the bride has a vision, if it's 7:05, it might ruin her whole day, and it's a little more stressful. So I like I like the corporate gigs because it's a lot more less stress, but also I still like the weddings. It's just a lot more stressful, I guess you could say. But I don't mind either.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you made a lot of people's dream weddings come true. And once you're breaking down, then that's when it feels the best, right?
Heck yeah, heck yeah. When
Yeah.
everything is said and done, heck yeah.
I definitely feel that way too doing concerts and stuff, especially when we're doing
Mm,
it together.
yep, yep.
Well, let's get into it, man. This last 2 months been super crazy for not just you, but both of us, as well
Yeah,
as our companies. And
yeah.
we've definitely did some shit. Um, was the beginning of March. We took on
Hmm.
a another project.
March.
Yeah, it was March. That was like 2 months ago. Seems
Yeah, it's
longer,
so
but
crazy.
yeah. But we took on another project and we did another event at Eve nightclub and it was called Allure and
Aura, aura.
Aura, that's right. Damn it. It was called Aura. Gonna have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
edit that part out. Yeah. And shoot, for one thing, it was a level H artist group network Golden Child promotion, kind
Hmm.
of similar to what we've been doing at District. We've done it
Hmm.
together at shoot with Ryan Golden Child at different events, but the
Hmm.
core of level H and artist group been together for at least over a decade, huh? Like we've been
Yeah,
doing events,
at least 10
especially
years. Yeah, over
yeah.
10 years. Yeah, 15, close to 15.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right when my daughter was born, we started partnering up doing
Hmm.
events.
Yeah.
And Level H and Artist Group Network are companies that were in the nightclub industry for years, at least 20 years. And
Yeah.
fortunately we found cross paths and we got
Hmm.
to work together and um bruh, so our last event Eve, how did that whole thing even start? Because I kind of know, and we kind of did it together. Half of the time I was in New York right before it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
started, yeah, or I was somewhere. Where was I? Snowboarding too, right before we
Yeah, yeah,
started,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But how did that even come to fruition? Because we weren't really, yeah, we weren't sure if we are gonna do another one, huh?
yeah, we left district, and then I mean, we were thinking about. I mean, regardless, we left district because that we were there for 9 years, and almost 10. And we've never stayed at promotion that long normally, and it, good or bad, you usually just leave just because it kind of ran its course.
Yeah.
And yeah, but by the time we stepped away, and it felt good to step away from district at that time. And then yeah, we had other things possibly lined up, but I know you were looking more towards retirement at that time already.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that and I mean, even before we left, you were already talking about you leaving, and I think you left for like a week, and then you came back, and then I knew you kind of just sticking around, just to kind of just be with the boys and hang out and see each other. But I think
Yeah.
after that break, it was like a good 2 or 3 month break from district. um Eve opened up, and I really like the venue because
Yeah.
it's upscale for one. When you first walk in, the place is automatically different than most places in Hawaii. It felt like the mainland, which I really, really loved. Um, the bones were all there. The staff was great. The ownership was great. And then it just all the pieces start to click. I was like, hey man, we should try it out over here. And I think we were thinking about reaching out, and right when we were thinking about, they reached out to us, and it was just a perfect timing for that situation to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it was cool. I'm have the same opinion. I really like the venue. I liked it when it was Vintage Cave. I
yeah,
went there with
yeah,
my family a few times, and
yeah.
what they did to it was pretty cool, and it felt like a nightclub. It also felt somewhere where it wasn't. Like we were in the
Mm,
parking lot at Ala Moana and it was underneath, but once you got in there, it didn't feel like Ala Moana or it didn't feel like what it seemed like in the parking lot, but
mhm,
the venue was awesome and I really like the staff. Their staff over there
yeah,
was super awesome from the bartenders to the management to the even the security, and
yeah,
they were all supportive of our event. They were
mhm,
all personable and it seemed like they were all on the same page with us trying to grow the event. And brah, I had a few boxes to check off and I explained this to you many times before we started. Like I agreed to do this event because there were a few things I wanted to do before I called it a career. I did say when I reached a certain age, I wanted to stop. At
right.
least the weekly nightclub stuff because I didn't want to be that guy, and I'm finding it more difficult to kind of relate to these 21-year-olds and always say they're learning stuff you and I are trying to forget. But a couple of the boxes where I definitely wanted, I didn't want district to be our last event together, and not because I had something as district. I just wanted to do something again from scratch and
Yeah, yeah,
to see if we still got it. You know what I mean? Like
mhm, mhm,
see if our older promotion companies still could pull a crowd and to get people and to see if we still got it basically. The
mhm,
second one was to definitely do another event with you and
mhm,
make sure that it was locked in like level 8 and artist group network together as well as golden child. And then the
mhm,
last event, the last thing I wanted to check off was to do another club event with Hoppa as our DJ. Unfortunately, towards the ending of district, he had to leave. He couldn't play at district anymore, and I didn't want my last event to not be with him. So
mhm.
starting Eve, those boxes were going to be checked, and bro, the beginning was exciting. Like
Yeah,
it started to feel like our old school like ambitions and
yeah, yeah,
excitement was starting. Oh, we're gonna
yeah,
start a new event.
yeah.
How did you feel starting that thing? Because I mean, I was a little bit afraid to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it was 9 years since we started anything brand new from the scratch, and I mean, that's your first reason why to go back was it was pretty much the driving force. I think to know if we still had it because was our marketing tactics like how we did back in the day still applicable to a 10-year generational gap, you know? So definitely I was definitely nervous, you know, because do we still have that food? Do we still have but it was exciting because it was brand new again, you know, and always that new is exciting. You know, you can come up with an even just coming up with a name like like that builds excitement because you're trying to figure out oh what's the name going to be about. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's not, sometimes it just comes and um picking the day of the week, picking what kind of DJ lineup you want, the feel for the place, what the different factors you like. Coming up with all those different ideas is that exciting, and we haven't felt that in 9 years. I think that's why I love District, what how everything worked out, but coming with something new from scratch, that feeling can't be replaced. So I think that's what it was that we were chasing. So um, I think I was just definitely excited to start something new and coming with ideas and sitting with the boys on a Zoom call, at the coffee
Yeah.
shops, like just trying to come up with ideas to, how we're going to do this again, how we're going to make it different, our different marketing schemes. Yeah, it was fun. Definitely fun and exciting.
Yep. So we dropped the first night. It was the first week of March, correct?
Hmm.
Was yeah.
Yep, yep, yep.
And yeah, I was definitely nervous. I was definitely excited. I was definitely scared. Like I was thinking like, "Oh man, if if we don't got it, then nobody's coming. It's gonna be kind of embarrassing." And I know there's a lot of like people negatively talking about our
Hmm.
companies, and I wanted to prove everybody wrong. Not really prove everybody wrong, but I wanted to prove us right. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I think the whole nightlife industry was kind of looking to see how it was gonna
Hmm.
be and
Hmm.
and how things were gonna play out. And I was to the moon that it raged, bro. That first
Yep.
night, that the first night of Aura was one of the funnest nights I had in the nightclub in years, bro. That was so much fun.
Yeah, I mean the turnout was more than perfect. When it first launched, like I was worried about how many likes the flyers had, how many shares of the flyer. Like, I was just looking into the metrics and all that, and I was definitely worried. You just that's how it is with every promotion, though. There's promotions where you can spend hundreds of hours trying to put this event together and market it, and then no one show up. And there's also events where you just do minimal marketing, and then everybody comes out. You just kind of never know. So with this one, we kind of wanted to make sure it went off well. So we're doing all we can, but then I was definitely worried going in, but once the night hit and people started rolling in and didn't stop all night, man, I knew we had it. Definitely. It was a record-breaking night that night.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I noticed for the crowd, it was a lot of old school people, but a lot of young people.
Hmm.
And I had uh kids of students I taught Taekwondo to
Yeah.
hitting me up to come in, and like that's like couple gens down, and I'm thinking like they're
Yeah.
telling go call Uncle Thad to go get you into the club, and I'm thinking like that's my like those are my for real. I like held those kids as babies, and I'm thinking like wow, they're coming to our club now, and it was a little bit
Yeah.
surreal, little bit kind of feeling the age, but
Yeah. Yeah.
right, it
Yeah.
was good fun, man. Like those
Yeah. Yeah.
and watching Hoppa play for our crowd again,
Yep.
and that energy he brings is just that's one of my favorite things to do is just have a
Yeah.
drink with you and watch him DJ to our crowd. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah. That was a major plus for that event because now we could have Hoppa back, and it was kind of like he's been part of our promotion since the beginning, really, and like having him involved. So, once we got him back DJing for us, oh, it was just everything was unlocked, everything matched. I think our older clientele loved the venue because it felt welcoming, like an upscale venue, and then the newer crowd, younger crowd liked it because it was a packed place in a brand new spot they'd never seen before, instead of going to the same place over and over and over again in Hawaii. So it
Yeah.
was perfect, definitely perfect blend.
What I
Yeah.
enjoyed was their staff. They
Hmm.
immediately, any ideas we had or any situations we wanted changed, they did it within seconds. And
Hmm.
I mean, that was refreshing. There were some instances where it was like pulling teeth to get anybody to do something during our event. And
Mhm.
for this new one, it was like, oh, we want to change how the people enter the club. We want to bring them through here. Like, good, put up the stanchions. Let's do it now. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Like, we don't have to
yeah,
sit down and have a meeting about this. And it's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
they did it like anything we wanted. It was immediate and it was
yeah,
refreshing to feel that aloha and to feel that everybody was on the same page and being appreciated. I felt so
yeah,
appreciated there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Definitely, the staff made it for me. Like when we sat down with the meetings and stuff like that, we got to that. Even when we came in as customers right before it even opened, everyone was super gracious. Everyone was super thankful. Everyone, it was nightclub done right. In Hawaii, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we kind of raised that thing out for about a month and we only had a month contract. So we did a
Hmm.
weekly Friday night event at Eve for that month. And at the end of the month, our contract was up and we
Hmm.
had the option to continue or to not continue. And
Hmm.
this is where things got a little interesting. And a lot of rumors been swirling around, but unfortunately or fortunately, depending on what side of the coin you're on, we stopped. We didn't
Hmm.
continue doing Aura at Eve. We're actually
Hmm.
didn't we're not doing any events now. And
Hmm.
I think for me personally, I was disappointed at the time that we weren't gonna continue, but I also was relieved and
Hmm.
I was feeling it, man. I didn't know if how long I could be that excited on a weekly club event because I mean, like you said, we had about 3 or 4 months off and I started enjoying my Fridays and not having
Hmm.
to be obligated to be at a club or anything like that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
primarily you made it clear like you didn't want to continue.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, there have been a lot of rumors surrounding the decisions and why you left and why you're not promoting anymore. And now I want you to give the reason why we are done at Eve and promoting.
Hmm. Yeah, this is the part you clip and use as a trailer.
Yep,
Man,
exactly.
man. You know, um, yeah, I mean, I didn't know there was all that rumors going on. I want to know what there are, but at the
Yeah, I'm
same
gonna tell
time,
you after this. Yeah.
uh, um, so taking it back after that first event, we raged it out, right? And we do like every event. We're outside in the parking lot, just shooting the breeze. We're just talking how everything went, this and this and this, and I know everyone was excited. And honestly, during that time, I wasn't. It was cool to see that um, it was packed. Guess this was off the chain. People are calling to get in. People want, it was a new spot. It was happening. Um, Up until that point, I started going back to church. And I've been going ever since Christmas, really December, and I've been going weekly, and I just felt like for that time being, actually for that whole time, I felt like God was telling me to my life path needs to change, and He was calling me to do something else. And I was trying to hear it, trying to listen to it, and I'm like, you know, at the night that it should have been the most exciting, right? Because we haven't done something new in 10 years, really. And it was brand new, it was packed. And I looked around and I was like, yeah, this is not for me anymore. And I remember coming outside to you and um, trying to explain to you that I wasn't into it. I was like, oh, I think I'm going to stop all of this. I don't want to continue on anymore. And I was trying to give every excuse possible except what was in my heart. I was like, I just not that feeling wasn't there anymore. I'm not into it anymore. This and this, and I know you're getting upset a little bit because we just started this brand new promotion. We just spent months trying to build it, get it here, you know, and raged. Everyone was happy. Everything was all, I mean, everything was all in a row, and then uh, I just felt the pull, and I felt God was telling me like, it's time to move on, and um, everything in my life was working out because I've been listening to whatever God was telling me, inspiring me to do. I've been listening. My life has been getting better and better, and I just felt He was asking me, hey, you know what? There's something you can do with your time better than this, and but when I told you. I was like, yeah, you were getting mad when I was trying to give you every excuse. You're like, Hanson, what is going on? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, God's asking me to, calling me to do something else. And you're like, and I thought you were going to be like, you crazy, but you came from a heart of understanding, and it changed me. Like, you're like, you know what? If God's telling you to do this, then you got to do it. And at that point, like, everything kind of made sense. And then, um, yeah, it was time for me to step away from the nightlife, which I never thought I would do, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never thought you were gonna do, and to be honest, I was honestly worried, especially years in the past, and especially before you guys started Hoy Events Unlimited. I was
Mhm.
thinking you don't ever want to give this up. Even when
Mhm.
we left district, you tried another weekly spot on a Thursday,
Mhm.
and I felt like you definitely, personally for Hanson, didn't want to stop. Like you,
Mhm.
that was who you was,
Mhm.
and this is what you're gonna ride down forever. And I was
Mhm.
thinking like, bro, you gotta stop doing this. For me, I was
Mhm.
over it. I could do it, I could not do it.
Mhm.
I was kind of not liking it. And my mentors and people I worked with before, who started Artist Group Network, Peter and Ronnie, I remember them like leaving. I remember Peter especially was, the way he was doing our events, I could see in his face he didn't want to be there. He didn't like it. He'd be in the parking lot half the time, or he'd be asleep in his car while our events are going on. And I always told myself, if I started feeling like that, then I gotta stop, because I'm not gonna
Mhm.
hang on to this anymore.
Mhm.
Um, so I wasn't sure if you would ever stop, because it
Me
didn't
neither.
seem like it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you still loved it. And I
Mhm.
think for me, because of COVID, and I don't know if you were feeling this too, but for me, as a promoter prior to COVID, I didn't know my own identity. I had the same kind of fork in the road when I stopped doing martial arts and competing. I thought that was my identity. Like,
Mhm.
that is this person and this is who I am. But I realized as promoting, I started to feel that. I was thinking like, I'm this promoter, I'm popular, I this is my life. Without this, then I'm nothing. And and COVID got me to realize that that wasn't true. And because of COVID, we had to stop doing nightclubs, everything was shut down. And I
Yeah.
realized that my core friends still hit me up. We still talked all the time. The people that mattered still mattered. The people that I love still love me, because they love Thaddeus. They didn't love Thaddeus the promoter. And it made me
Mhm.
realize like, I am not a promoter. That's what I did. That's not who I am.
Mhm.
And the more I felt that, and when we restarted and started doing it again, I was able to detach myself from the fear of losing my own identity
Mhm.
by stopping. I was wondering if that's the same reason why you were wanting to keep continuing.
Yeah, 100%. Looking back at it now, I mean, there's a definite fear. It validated me. The cold hard truth is sometimes, these outside things make you feel the made you feel who you thought you were, and I felt like it was who I was, not what I did. I felt like the respect, the clout, the I've been doing it for so long that I just thought if I stopped, I would lose part of who I was. I thought that was my purpose, my driving force. And I kind of, I didn't see it at the time. I just like I could stop anytime, but that's what most people say when they're stuck in something. And I think as soon as, I mean, I was holding on to the district, I was holding on to all these promotions afterwards, and I was just, yeah, validating, the feeling of who I was, and I thought I would lose all of that once I stopped, and um, I think that's what helped me when I started going back to church. My purpose changed, God is the ultimate purpose for me now. So it's like all the other stuff. Honestly, everyone's saying, "Well, it must have been a hard decision." I was like, once I made the realization, honestly, it was the easiest decision in my life, because that purpose is clear at that point, and then I didn't need that validation anymore. And but at the time, yeah, it was everything. It was everything. Promoting was everything I did. That's everyone knew me for it. People would see me out. They would, you know, restaurants or anywhere you go, like, hey, what's that level H? But I realized, yeah, it's no longer needed that anymore, and that's
Yeah.
honestly freeing, 100% free.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I realize also by stopping is like you know who your real friends are.
yeah,
Nobody's there your best friend because you can hook them up in the club or get them free drinks or through the VIP line or whatever, or hook them up with whatever. It's like they
mhm,
now you find out like who keeps calling or who's there for you or who wants to be around you because they enjoy your company, not just because you're the guy at the club that got the hookups, you know what I mean? And
yeah, yeah,
like you said, it's freeing.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, puts things into perspective, and yeah, it's definitely freeing because, yeah, we always keep a close circle of friends, really close, and everyone else is just everyone else, because you realize when you can't do anything for them, who's around, So
Yeah.
that's exactly true. That's exactly true. Yeah.
I did at the time I was pissed, but not I was like pissed off at you, but not like I understood. And I having that
Mm,
conversation with you outside of Eve the first night, I seen the sincerity in your face. And being someone who was brought up around God and I have my own relationship with God, I understand.
mm,
And I just seen the sincerity in your face. I definitely knew that it was hard for you to tell me.
mm,
And that took a lot of guts. I think the realization of where your life direction was going to go to honestly accept it and understand it and make a move must have been super hard. Like you said, the decision was easy to make, but everything after that decision must have been hard. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. No, definitely. You know, yeah, I say it's easy just because I realize the purpose of why I'm doing it, and things like that. I think that whole feeling, how we set up, people calling us um only on Fridays, really, like, your so-called friends say, "Hey, what you doing?" Try to have a small conversation with you. Hey, by the way, it's Friday. Can you get me in? Like, we do
Yeah.
this every Friday. Like, the charades just keep on going. And people come up to the guest list line and ask, like, "Oh, Hanson said let me in," and you're like, "I'm Hanson." Like, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, they don't even know who you are. And like, um, it's funny, and that's kind of the realization I got when I was going to Sunday service. It was like, like when you're up standing at the gate of heaven, is God gonna be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, who are you again?" Like, "Oh, you hit me up that one time, you need something." Like, I just didn't want to be like that with God, and I just realized that's what I was doing what irritating me at the club is what I was doing to him. I'm like, I only call him when I need him, or I don't talk to him for 10 years, but when I need something, I'll ask for something, and that's not the relationship I want to have. So when I say it was an easy decision, now that I wanted to connect with him that way, all the other stuff was easy to decide at that point, to be honest. But man, the ramifications of just walking out on a nightclub is big. We're changing the livelihoods of dozens of people. People that took off their job to work for us on a Friday. Or um, our other partners or whatever that budget out their income because of how these events are going to go. And me walking away was easy, but the logistics was definitely difficult. And also, the people are upset. I know people are upset because we just raged this thing out. Like, why are we stopping? Like, it doesn't make sense to most people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool, like what you just said, how like getting into heaven is God gonna treat you like how how we
Yeah.
were treated at the club. And I always said that, like my phone, I'm the most popular guy on Friday, but Saturday, my phone doesn't ring at all for people to thank me that we got them in on a
Yeah.
Friday night.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. That one of that first Sunday services I went to talked about that, and I'm just hit me home because we're in that situation all the time, you know?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
once you made that decision, how hard was it? I know for me, it must have been hard. I mean, explaining to me, and for one thing, I don't sugarcoat anything. I kind of tell you how I feel. And I was split. Like half of me was like, "You fucking guy, we just started this thing. You got me out of my comfy Friday nights to do this again, and now you want to stop." And then half of me was like, "Oh, Hanson's finally done with this shit. Like Hanson has a purpose that he believes in, and it's not the nightclubs." And so half of me was mad, half of me was happy that, oh, Hanson is is gonna do this. I thought for sure the hardest thing probably would be to tell his Hoppa because he can be very outspoken. And
Yeah.
even Golden Child must have been hard because I don't know
Yeah.
how close their relationships are with God to where they would understand the reason why your thought process pulled you in that way.
Hmm. Yeah. I think with you it's easier. I think I knew you had a relationship with God, but at the same time, we talk everything out, and even if you yell at me, it's coming from a good place, you know. Um, I think with everybody else, I think I have no idea what they would if they thought it was crazy, using it as an excuse, you know, like I have no idea what they were thinking, so that's what made it difficult, you know. But I knew I told myself no matter what, like when we came out there down the line, I was like, you know, if I need to be the reason why we can all this has to just let everybody know, you know, like I found God and I kind of just I'm stepping away. And if everyone's gonna be mad that they don't have a job or this or this, and just let's tell it's Hanson, you know, come talk to me, you know. And thankfully everyone understood.
Yeah.
The ones that we got to talk to, I think yeah, I was worried about our business, like our partners and our friends, like, you know, Golden Child and Hoppa, because I know they took this gig and this job knowing that we were going to be there for honestly probably we're going to be there for a long time. The way it started off like that, if we kept on rolling out, it would have been another 9 or 10 years. Like I don't see it as implausible that we could have, you know. But everything happens for a reason, and I think even that 1 month contract, that's something we never take. That
Yeah.
kind of deal we never take. It's always at least a 12-month contract, 1 year, or we both got to write it out. And the way that it happened that way, I think it was you know, perfect timing and kind of part of God's plan.
Yeah, it was, I felt meant to be. And hindsight, I'm happy. I'm glad we're not promoting. And like I said at the beginning of this show, like I was happy to check off all those boxes, regardless
Mhm.
of how long. We still checked off every single one of those boxes that we wanted to check off
Mhm.
at the beginning before we started, and that was gratifying for me. Um, how hard was it to tell Hanson and Ryan?
Oh, hop on, right?
Yeah.
Um, you know, I think I knew Hoppo would be pissed. To be honest, because we've been waiting for a perfect storm like this in the nightlife, where we have owners that backed us up. We have staff that backed us up. We're in a brand new place, 2 a.m. I just thought all the things were lined up, and I was worried that he'd be pissed. Um, I felt bad about I felt bad for Ryan just because we set this whole deal up too, and we know I've been through with him through Straits when we were at Straits, and then a couple of deals that we tried to set up with multiple means that failed, that didn't go our way, or they changed their mind last minute, and we finally got one locked in, you know, and we got it going, we raged it out, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna tell us I'm just gonna stop. If I'm gonna pull out. You know, at first I didn't know if we were gonna like the event was gonna stop. I was just gonna pull out. That was my initial in my head when I said, oh yeah, I'm just gonna I feel the inspiration. I'm just gonna do it, you know. And I thought the event was gonna happen. I was just gonna bow out, and everything was gonna be. tidied up nice and neat, but definitely didn't happen that way. Yeah,
Yeah. I think Ryan, I don't know if he understood the God aspect of it, but I think he understood that that was your decision. And I think
yeah,
Hoppa
yeah,
got understands the God aspect as much as I do, but
mm,
I think the first initial blow was rough. They were like
yeah,
kind of confused and like Hanson was like, I mean, Hoppa was like, God, I'm pretty sure God doesn't want you to fuck over your friends. It was,
yeah,
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 it was fun knowing every. I mean, it's cool now, and for me,
yeah.
I'm happy we're done, and I'm like at that age where I told myself I'm not gonna do a
Hmm.
weekly nightclub thing anymore,
Hmm.
and so I'm technically keeping that promise to myself, and
Yeah, yeah,
for me, I'm very happy that you're done because the future didn't look like you were gonna be done, and
yeah, yeah.
some of the
You know,
rumors I had heard for the last month since we
yeah. Tell me,
stopped.
tell me, tell me.
One was I heard that we you and I got into it and we stopped because
Oh,
me and you were like pissed
what?
at each other. I heard that one. I
Oh, how
heard
did that come around? That's so weird.
I heard you were too old. I heard I was too old. I heard we don't have it anymore. What else did I hear? I heard you and Hoppa got into it.
Oh, what?
I heard that
Oh,
one.
interesting. Oh, man, how did things get twisted like that? That's so
Yeah.
crazy.
I heard that you retired, but like nobody knew why.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, some
I
of those, that's crazy.
Yeah, I heard the club try to rip us off, which we had a little conflict, but that got resolved. It wasn't because of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, those guys are stand-up guys. I think things got testy at some point, but when it came down to it, they were willing to work with us above and beyond, to take care of us. So that definitely wasn't it. And I applaud those guys over at E because they're stand-up people, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
else did I hear?
That's funny.
Shoot, there was
Yeah,
one more that was like, what?
that's funny.
Oh,
No, yeah.
because you had a girlfriend and she didn't want you to promote anymore. That
Yeah,
one
no.
probably yeah, I think me and Hoppa came up with that one.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That's funny.
oh yeah, it was but and to yesterday somebody asked me, or a lot of people asked me, and I kind of defer like, oh, Hanson is doing other stuff now, and I
Yeah, yeah,
kind
yeah.
of wanted to give you this platform so you can tell people why, as well as next time somebody asks, I'm just gonna send them a freaking link to the show.
Watch this. Here's the answer. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah, I think the decision was easy at the time, to walk away. I think there was a lot of prayer that went involved to solving the relationships to how to leave, and making sure. For one, we didn't want to just walk away from the nightclub. We didn't want to walk away from the nightclub with our reputation tarnished because for the
yeah,
last 20 years, we in the nightclub industry, we led a clean promotion. We didn't screw anybody over. We didn't, dick anybody over. Like we were honest, and it's very rare to get that in our business, and I get it. And we wanted to continue that always to the end, both you and I, and I think there was a lot of prayer going on to figure out how we could walk away blamelessly and without screwing anybody over. And um, that was the part that tore me a lot. And I think maybe people were mad initially because they just didn't understand why. But yeah,
yeah,
that's funny to hear because like me, you, Hoppa, I mean, we're boys, like freaking,
yeah.
we're homies. That's funny. The
I
rumors
think
like that.
yeah, and I think that because of us being able to do what we did for so long, I watched this. I don't know if you know Anthony Smith, the UFC fighter.
Yep, yeah,
He
retired.
yeah, he retired, and his whole thing at the end, Chael Sonnen told him, "I want you to think about this when you retire. Like, don't." be sad that it's over, be happy that it happened. And the more I thought about it, I'm blessed to have had that life for that long. And we forged a lot of cool moments and friendships, and we done a lot of cool things that 99.9 of people on earth never got to experience. And
Yeah.
we did a lot of fun stuff with a lot of cool people. And uh for me, that was the most memorable stuff that I taken away from being promoting. I can't
Mhm.
remember each night, but I can remember awesome moments that I've had throughout the last 2 decades promoting. And uh with you guys, it's been awesome. And I think we're gonna be those old guys reminiscing about back in our day, but why not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's what life is creating those moments so you can remember them. And
Mhm.
I'm down to be those old guys reminiscing. We were at um restaurant row at the row bar with
Oh
Nikki
yeah.
Sotelo, and the three of us were reminiscing. And it was like, fuck, I could do that all day. You know what I mean? Those are
Yeah.
cool because it brings back those fun memories. And I don't care if I'm the old guy reminiscing what we used to do, because what we used to do was pretty fun and cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, yeah, we got to do some highlight moments on a regular that people have highlight moments for their lifetime, really. I
Yeah.
mean, party with thousands, throwing some huge concerts, the celebrities we got to meet, traveling for the parties. Yeah, it's definitely some memories we got to meet, and I think we can definitely look back and reminisce some of the good times we had. Definitely,
So
definitely.
the biggest question I have, and I'm sure a lot of people have, are you completely done? Is level
That's
H
the question.
done?
I
Yeah,
always get that. I always
yeah,
get that. That's when it's left. That's probably the next question I always ask. Are you done? Done? And I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, I am done. I am definitely walking away and staying away. I'm happy with the memories and the opportunities that I got and the people I met and like my friends that became family, through it. But yeah, I mean, I'm done. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. For me, I'm not sure if I'm done. I might do a one-off. I'm definitely done doing a weekly. I'm not doing a weekly party. I may do a one-off or even a retirement party. But
Hmm.
I definitely. What about concerts? Would you be down to do concerts?
Christian concert.
Oh, okay, I don't know any Christian groups.
Yeah, we could probably figure that out online. But the thing is that production wise, my company's still doing production stuff for concerts anyway. So that's one way that I definitely have my company involved in those kind of things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think it's awesome, and I think you had an awesome career. I think
Mhm.
I'm very happy where I'm at, and I'm glad we're not. And for us, we went out what last week and or 2 weeks ago, and it was like that's part of like hanging out, having a couple drinks, and just talking story and cruising together. Like that for me was the basis of why I like promoting, hanging out with you guys and creating
Mhm.
something. And we
Yeah.
still can do that on the rig,
No,
at least.
definitely. It was like an automatic excuse to hang out with a friend because right now, life gets lifing sometimes. You have kids, you got school, you got, job, you got things, and sometimes those moments pass. So like it's like a weekly reminder, hey, you know what? Go hang out with your friend. It's something that we were forced to do because of work, but it's all by choice. We can do it all the time anyway. So we definitely make that on a regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what my question is, does level H exist, or like what about that? Like, are you gonna use the name, or is that just something etched in time already?
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a marketing company. It didn't have to be for a nightclub. So, I mean, we've done marketing for products and concerts and things like that. So, we'll see. We'll see what it turns into. But as of now, yeah, the nightlife portion is done.
Well, I don't know. I
But you
just got
heard
hit up
heard it here
like,
first.
yeah. I just got hit up about couple days ago to do a pool party.
Yeah,
Does
honestly, right when we stopped is when all the flood of invites came in. They asked us to re-go back to places. Then
yeah.
Eve asked us to come back again. There's other spots that we were asking for to do that said no, that came back and I said yes. So yeah, it definitely there was a floodgates that opened up once we weren't doing Eve. So I mean, to know that we still have it, that wasn't why I left. If it was rage, if we didn't, if because we didn't have it, it would have been easy to walk away a long time ago. But the harder
Yeah.
part was it. The hardest part was that um, when you look at it from the outside in, is that yeah, it was raging. We could have just kept that running for a long, long time. But I think I made the right decision for myself and what God wanted me to do, 100%.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. And we definitely
Yeah,
did put the other venues on notice once we
mhm.
opened. Everybody was feeling that, oh shit, they're still doing it. Like
Yeah,
we were
yeah,
a threat. We were a threat. I'm sure people
yeah.
were happy that we stopped, but I think both you and I are the happiest.
True, 100%.
Yeah.
I am.
So future wise, where do you think you're gonna be taking your path with God and especially or and your promotion, your production company?
Yeah, right now, I mean, production wise, we're hiring people because it's getting busy, So the good thing is that the gigs are coming in. We just need to build infrastructure to do more and more events. We're doing over 300 events a year, so we're busy. We're trying to stay busy. So that's has a whole life of its own. On the church side, I'm just getting more rooted, more involved. We're at Pearl side, so if anyone's looking for a church to go to, um, you know, it helps you get closer to God. So come on down. But it's yeah, I just whatever my recent thing, whatever God inspires me to do, I'm just gonna keep on saying yes to, and it's been working out, and my life has been changing leaps and bounds, and for the better ever since I've been doing that. So, um, if I knew God's plan, I would tell you, but as it comes, it has developed and it's been smooth. So, whatever the inspiration comes, I'm gonna do definitely.
Oh, that's good. And I think that's a good way to live life, man. That way you're doing what is right and where you're gonna be where you're supposed to be. I could see you being a
Definitely.
pastor or a youth group minister or something like that. I don't know. I
We'll
think
see. We'll see.
I think your ability in life is to bring people together, regardless whatever it is. So God
Mm.
might use you as the vessel for that. It's not gonna be getting people drunk and hammered in a nightclub. It
Yeah.
might be to get people together and celebrate God and
Yeah, definitely.
his love. So
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, people don't know this, but before all the nightclub stuff, I was heavily into church. I was doing youth pastoring and Bible studies and worship leading and pioneering churches back in the day, and so when I went the opposite direction, I definitely went the opposite direction, and I had a great career out of it, but me coming back, it just feels like I'm coming back home, and it feels right. And yeah, whatever he calls me to do, I have a I have a what I say, I have like a tool belt full of tools that I've accumulated in the last 20 years. And however he wants to use me, I'm ready to go for him.
that's awesome. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I always joked, and now that we're done, is not as serious of a joke, but I always said that, oh yeah, we're in the nightlife industry selling sin every Friday, but technically we kind of was, but I think the positive things that we've done in promoting is what we can lay our hat on, not
hmm
selling sin.
No, no, definitely. I know that nightlife, or just anything in that genre of things, it's like people are trying to be happy, and
Yeah.
whether it be momentarily for that moment while they're out drinking, hanging out, dancing, having fun with their friends, and we provided that relief, sometimes, and we got to make closer friendships because of this and that. Um, I just realized like what I'm trying to do now is give a permanent version of that for people.
Yep. And yeah, we may have people may have sinned at our event, but we didn't like we weren't selling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Heck
sure
yeah.
both of us sinned at our own events too.
Work in progress, work in progress.
Yep, but hey, to be
Yeah,
old and wise, you got to be young and crazy. So we're at that old and wise stage now.
thank goodness.
Well, for me, I'm looking forward to spending Friday nights hanging out with you whenever we can. And to me, that those are way more valuable than trying to rage out a club now. And
Yep,
like
agreed,
Anthony
agreed.
and like Anthony Smith was told, we should be not sad that it's over, but super happy that it happened. And I couldn't be more happier with the life I had the last 20 years. And yeah, it puts into perspective, and it went by fast. And like we like I think that business and job title is kind of a dying thing, especially here in Hawaii.
Yep, yeah, everywhere, everywhere. There are no promoters anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty much it, man. I think we hit everything on the head. Social media wise, where can people find you on your social media, also your company's social media?
Yep, yep. So personally, I'm at Level H for my events company at Hawaii Events Unlimited, and at ProSide main campus is the church that I go to.
Right on. And for me, you can find us on Above the Bridge podcast on Instagram, YouTube, and our website is atbpod.com. And my personal Instagram is Thaddy Daddy High. Well, man, once you get back from Maryland, we can have some fun. We can yeah, we can do some cool stuff now that you know what's fun is hanging out with you when we're off is we can do whatever. So we can
Yeah,
jump
yeah,
around and yeah, like for me those nights
yeah.
are like super
We're not
valuable.
like okay,
It's
gotta go back to work.
yeah, or like oh
You
shit,
can
they're
actually
gonna
hang
know
out.
we're
Yeah,
gone or yeah.
yeah.
And
True that. True that.
we definitely gotta stick to that and do that and like I'm gonna be getting married in in a couple months. Yeah, a few
Yep.
months.
Excited for you.
Yeah, and that's gonna be for me, I'm looking forward to the wedding most to be around friends and family and that that's gonna be super important and that'll be a fun time. I'm excited for it and yeah, for me and Sasha is gonna be business as normal. Like I feel like we're married already, so it's just a celebration of that. So
Hmm.
um yeah, we just gotta make sure we make time for us to hang out and like Taylor and all of us because those moments are important and
Heck yeah.
these friendships are important and I'm happy to see that you're happy and the direction your life is going away from the nightclub because out of everybody now I'm thinking Ryan got I don't know when he's gonna be done. Yeah,
He's next on the worry list.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Love you, brother, and I think that following your heart and God's path for you was not a easy not an easy choice to do, but I think you've seen it clearly and yeah, I think you're making the right decision or made the right decision.
I appreciate it. I love you too, brother. And thank you for your support for real. Good friends are hard to find, so when you find them, hold on to them.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Well,
Yeah.
shakas for the cameras. We're out. Shout out to the Artist Group Network. Aloha.